What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Average Bob. Welcome back to this show. Just had some stuff going on over the last couple of days, and weekends get jammed packed with dad life, so I didn't really have the time to sit down and do kind of like a well structured bi-week podcast as I would have liked to. As the Giants are 2-11, so I did want to touch on a couple of things though that we had transpired over the bye week, and then just using that free time to kind of rest, relax, and think about how I want to approach the rest of the season here and what the Giants really have to play for. But before we kind of dive into things, one thing I wanted to touch on was just going to the Patriots game on Monday Night Football, which was a pretty cool experience. The stadium, it's just so different right now as a Giants fan who goes to a lot of games, to walk into a stadium where everyone in that stadium is so excited. The energy is palpable. You feel it, and everyone is so into it. Everyone is into it. The fans, the crowd, and I guess the point is, it's like I feel like we've missed that for so long as Giants fans, that just watching it, and everyone, Drake May played a really good game and he's getting MVP chance left and right, and it's like, damn, like I really miss this, or I haven't seen it myself in so long. So it's crazy to watch, what good teams do in their stadiums and how they bring that, just changing the culture year over year, what it can do for a team and a franchise. And I thought the experience was cool. Gillette Stadium was really cool. The seats were good. It was fun to spend time with some friends that I haven't seen in a while. And, they're all Patriots fans for the most part. One of them was a Giants fan, but so we got to bask in our, terribleness. But I think one thing that I learned from just seeing this, though, was what a difference one season can make, what a difference one coach can make, because the Patriots last season weren't in that great of a spot. Even, hey, Drake May was decent, but he got his ass kicked, and he had an okay rookie season. It wasn't phenomenal. I think we could agree Jaden Daniels was probably the better rookie last season compared to May. And then you bring in Mike Vrabel, and it changes the culture. And this is something that I've talked about with good coaching for a while. Mike Vrabel, because he was a good player and because he's taken the time to be a very good coach, is even before he stepped foot into Foxborough, where he won a lot of championships and Lombardi trophies, he immediately had the respect of that locker room, where I feel like, it is a very unique situation, right? Because they also had a guy who was a Patriots player and then had a bad season, was fired. As a result of that bad season, setting it up perfectly for Vrabel to come back and, I think he was well rested too. I don't believe he coached last season, or was he fired? I forget what transpired with him from a coaching standpoint, but he ended up with the Patriots, and you can see, the results are speaking for themselves. Like 11-win team. They looked really good. They looked great across offense, defense, special teams. They had a punt return for a touchdown. Offense is dinging and dunking all the way down the field, and they're playing Patriots ball in the regard of it's a team effort, and I think that's what they probably have missed. And it's not just one guy who's going to do everything. It's truly a team effort, and it's not like superstar driven like a lot of the other teams in this league make it. And my point for this all, and I'm not trying to glaze the Patriots, because the Patriots fans in my last video were talking an immense amounts of shit. So I do respect the Patriots, but some of them the fans piss me off. But I think the point is being, if the Giants can find the right coach to come in here, it will really change things and make it a team game, not a me game, because there are some guys that have ungodly amounts of talent on this team. Neighbors, even Abdul, who we'll talk a lot about in this video today. Plenty of talent, but we have to do the best as a team and make everyone else better. As individual players, they need to make everyone better around them, but it's coach's job to bring the most out of everyone across the board: offense, defense, special teams, and all three facets of that offense was getting a little bit better, but I think this season you could see the offense is better because of Jackson Dart. It wasn't that much better. It was actually, frankly, terrible when Russell Wilson was in, except for the one Cowboys game where their defense was completely depleted, and they've turned a little bit of a leaf for a little bit, a stretch of the season there, but. Then, you also had Jameis Winston, who the offense was okay with him, So it comes down to not really a coaching thing, but more of a player situation. And hopefully when the next person comes in, you're taking that missing piece from coaching, pairing it with players equals success. And that's what the Patriots have shown. So that was my long-winded rant. It was fun, man. It was cold AF, but it was a cool experience. It's a cool, nice stadium. Everyone was really nice for the most part. The Pats, I'm getting more shit in the comments from my last video from Patriots fans than I was in person wearing my Lawrence Taylor jersey. So nice fun bunch there. Next thing I wanted to dive into was after this last week had transpired was now the Giants own the first pick in the 2026 NFL draft as the Titans won a game. So Giants, Titans, both with 2 wins. Raiders also have 2 wins, but they don't have that 11th loss yet because they're playing Monday night. Yeah, I don't even know what we would want. I would really have to do a deep dive and think about what would we even want with the first overall pick. I mean, at this point, you have so many things. Really the only thing that I would possibly want would involve a trade with Kayvon Thibodeau and drafting another edge rusher because we all know, you cannot have enough of them. The Giants have been successful. You had Strahan, Tuck, OC, JPP, even Kiwanuka, like so many edge rushers that could get to the quarterback. So that's probably the one position I would prioritize, maybe a tackle or something if there is a tackle deemed to go 1, but it doesn't seem like offensive lineman, even though this is a video for another day, and could be a crazy rant, but just hear me out. The offensive line position has changed so much over the last number of years, specifically because of the lack of practice, really, in live environments. So, do you even risk taking an O tackle at 1 overall? I mean, Evan Neal was a surefire first tackle off the board pick, and look what happened to him. So. Yeah, there's a lot to be said here. I'm not too convinced on taking someone with the overall pick if they're there. But the Giants have some winnable games coming up. Yeah, coming up, they're playing Washington on Sunday afternoon. Washington, I think, was blanked the other day. The Vikings after that, not that good. And then the Raiders after that also, battle the shitheads there with 2 wins currently, both of us. And then you finish with the Cowboys on January 4th. So I don't really know what to make of. Are they going to win? Are they going to pull a DeVito and win a couple games here? 100%. They're not going to end with this number 1 pick. I'm telling you right now. We've seen this before. That's why I didn't even want to get too excited about it. But I'm just being honest with you and telling you what I think 100% is going to happen is they're not going to end with this first overall pick for the 2026 draft. And even if they did, I don't even know what would you be excited about, because you're not going to take a quarterback. You took Abdul Carter. You have Malik Neighbors. I think you could get another wide receiver, but you don't take him 1, right? So, eek. And now you got Joe Schoen coming back making a decision. Double eek. So we'll see what happens there. A X-post from O'Connor. A kicker who doesn't kick the ball, a top 3 pick who doesn't show up for work on time, a gifted young QB who refuses to protect himself, a 2-11 team that can't execute for more than 2.5 quarters. I don't know what Joe Schoen is running here with the Giants, but it's not a program. Have to agree with him on that one. It's really weird because Joe Schoen had his bye-week press conference where he discusses what's going on with the team, X, Y, and Z, and whatnot. So I'm not exactly sure why at this point in time he would even do that, and the way he was just seemed like he was 30 minutes late. He wasn't prepared to speak with just speaking with the media, but he just kept saying, I understand the question, I understand the question, I understand the question over and over and over. And it's like, why even do this? Why even sign up to do this? And he's like, this is just what we do. It's our report card, blah, blah, blah. It makes no sense. Don't even do it. Why? Who are you doing this for? It's clearly not for you because you're not even going to answer the questions the right way. And it's just, you're giving Pat Leonard and all these other guys their little sound bites, which, I mean, I guess good on them. They ask hard questions. I think so. For some of them who really don't, don't really push too hard. I think they did a good job in making him feel uncomfortable, but it's like, what's the point? And yeah, it echoes what I said in my last thing about having the first overall pick. I don't really know if I trust Joe Schoen, and do you? Speaking of next potential head coaches coming up, the New York Post reported Notre Dame's Marcus Freeman. It's humbling to be held in such high regard with the Giants. There are definitely a lot of connections with the Giants, especially the Mara family and Notre Dame. Irish Catholic. It's like a football sort of lore and history, and the two kind of blend together a little bit. Having said that, though, I want a proven NFL head coach, guys. Mike McCarthy gets me more excited than Marcus Freeman. And you guys know I don't like Mike McCarthy. He has this stupid face on the sideline when he's just like, I don't like him. But I think he's a better NFL head coach than Marcus Freeman. Maybe Marcus Freeman will be a good head coach at some point. I don't know, but I just want someone who can run the organization in an NFL way, because it seems like, and hold people accountable, because it seems like there was a ton of favoritism played with Brian Daboll and a lot of these other coaches, and that's why he's gone. And moving ahead, reports Giants' Abdul Carter has had attendance issues all season. This was posted by GiantsWireToday.com. And yeah, there was that clip that got a picture that got like 1 million views on X about Abdul Carter sitting back in his seat, like almost looking like he's sleeping. But the context of that really got lost really quickly, and it sucks because he got no benefit of the doubt of that, because I think the clip's about 1 to 3 seconds of him going like that when the meeting's getting started. And trust me, when I was playing in college, I probably looked a lot worse in some film sessions, especially if I wasn't, doing much in games or whatever. So for a split second of that, it definitely got blown out of proportion, because it tied in perfectly with all of the reports recently about Abdul Carter missing all of this stuff, and it just sucks. But he's not making this any easier on himself. And he came in with all the hype. I want Phil Simms number. I want Lawrence Taylor number. I'm going to be a Giants great. And then this is you can believe that you're sleeping in meetings just based off of one picture, because you've had these issues all season. And to that extent, a lot of people, Carl Banks and other Giants legends, Giants, SNY Giants on X, asked Abdul Carter, what it's like hearing his teammates saying that he needs to grow up. And in quotes, I take it, the guys who say that are guys that I look up to, guys I respect. If they say something like that, I've got to look at myself and say, how can I get better? It's a good way of looking at it. He is young, and he has a pretty good mindset by all, means, I think, but he's just got to be held a little bit accountable. And does the benching of, from one drive or one quarter or half make a difference here if he's been fined all season? I don't know. It just sucks. It's funny. I put out this one tweet that was just like, as a Rangers fan, in a draft or back-to-back drafts, you had Capo Caco 2 overall, not even on the team anymore. And then after that, Alexi Lafreniere drafted 1 overall. This has been whatever, not great, but not, he'll stick around and have a long career, but he hasn't been the game changer that you'd think. And then that also happens with guys like Thibodeau, Neal. Neighbors has been hurt, so we'll give him a pass. But Carter at 3, if he's going to be, I hope he's taking a lot of this to heart, and I hope he wants to be good, because, and I think he does. But at first glance, it's just, I don't want to put him in this category of these guys that I had such high hope for, and they never live up to it. But that would be the thing, really, with New York sports, right? Who has really lived up to the billing over the last 10 years in New York sports? And it's really guys that come in from somewhere else. I mean, probably the best, I guess, Aaron Judge, if you look at it through that lens. Jalen Brunson, but he came in as a free agent. Probably Judge, actually, is the best example of someone who's actually lived up to the billing. And but no championships yet for the Yankees. And I'm a Mets fan, but he's probably the best one. Other than that, though, you're looking at, 8 other teams. No one's really done the best job of stepping up and, trying to forge their own legacy through the greatness of their play. So just, I don't know, a little bit of a random rant there. And then we'll end with a shout out with my boy Wan'Dale Robinson here, who has more receiving yards than Drake London, Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Smith, Jaden Wild, T. Higgins, Devontae Adams. So shout out to Wan'Dale. A lot of people talk shit about him. He's due for contract at the end of the season, and I think you got to give it to him. He's playing pretty well. He's played well with any quarterback that has played for the Giants. Dart, Winston, Wilson. Last year, 4 different quarterbacks played. So I'm pumped for Wan'Dale. I hope he continues to ball out. And yeah, that's it for today's episode. The bye week blues, they've struck. They're here. And we'll get a post coming up in a couple days for the Washington game. Not that there's, it's another great NFC East battle between 2 iconic franchises. Thanks for watching.